directors giving people chances, and then he's portrayed to be the bad guy, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's something to be said that about Hobbs and Shaw quasi derailing the Fast and Furious franchise. Like, imagine like it feels like they were building a bunch of momentum for Vin's, the main franchise portion of it, and so essentially the Rock's movies slowed it down, sidestepped it for a little bit. And I mean, I like that movie too. But I do see the annoyance there, and I am also a little annoyed. But I guess I guess we can transition into sort of the talk about Vin and The Rock as sort of their personas. So over the last year, I've becoming more and more hesitant of accepting The Rock, and I know that's crazy to say because I usually was a really big Dwayne Johnson stan, but I had this realization that like I feel like Dwayne Johnson buys what he's selling, you know, and
Yeah.
and Vin is like, I get that this is kind of funny and like, but not Dwayne Johnson. He's completely serious about everything he's talking about. And I also think we've hit Dwayne Johnson's saturation point, where it's just too much stuff going on at once, and that he's either very close to or has already jumped the shark. Like with the number of just media he's in, like his Young Rock TV show, which I'm sure is pretty awesome, but when you look at it in the whole, it's just like too much Rock. I can't take this much of you. Hopefully that made sense. It was a little meandery.
No, I mean, just you're talking about sort of peak saturation of Dwayne Johnson, and I get it. I think I'm still a fan of his, but I'm just much more so a fan of early, like the rundown Dwayne Johnson, where yes, he can beat up 7 football players with no problem, and he can beat up an army of people at the end, but he loses fights to Ernie Reyes Jr. He's funny. He's not afraid to look stupid. Like he's hanging upside down and his face is swollen and like, get away from me, monkey. He's vulnerable. In Fast 5, he loses a fight to Vin Diesel. He loses that fight. And then you move to San Andreas or Rampage, where he flies every vehicle known to man. Everybody's afraid of him. One punch KOs everybody, can fight monsters. I mean, people have been doing this for years, decades, since cinema started, just being this amazing hero. But it just feels the fallibility's gone with a lot of Dwayne Johnson's characters. And I like him in Jumanji because he's cheeky. He has fun with it. He's flexing his pecs. He's, oh man, like, look, check out these biceps. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is neat. Oh, look at my powers. And that's fun because if someone morphed into Dwayne Johnson, it'd be quite the experience. So I totally get, I like how they deal with him in the Jumanji movies, the more open. But in like Hobbs and Shaw, which I love, I own it, I've talked about it, it's fun. It's just, he and Statham are just so, they're just immortals. They're superheroes. And I don't know. I don't like that kind of thing. But in this one with Vin Diesel, it gives him some weaknesses. I mean, his wife just says, listen, I didn't want you to go. I wanted you to stay. Get away from me. He loses out on that.
You screwed up, bro.
Yeah. I didn't want you to go. I know you always came back, but I didn't want you to leave. And it's just, he's kind of played for a fool in some of this. And because of his nanobites, he's allowed to be a berserker. And I just think it's more open. He has a more vulnerability. And when he says thank you, I believe it. I don't see that from a Dwayne Johnson character. And Dwayne Johnson works so hard. That guy's probably wakes up at 4 a.m. every morning to lift weights and produce 40 different things. I mean, this guy hustled, and he started off in the wrestling ring. He put his body on the line, and I think everything he has, he's earned. And even his tequila brand was the #1 selling tequila in the world when it first started. It broke every record. So this is the guy who's earned everything that he's had. I like him better when he's fallible. And I don't see him being in this movie and pulling off what Vin did.
Yeah, and what I would say to that is that The Rock is an incredible worker. He really is. But he also, it feels like he doesn't take chances. And what I mean by that is like he hasn't done a true R action movie. Like,
well, did Faster. He did Faster, which
he did Pain and Gain.
Oh yeah, so he did. So I think his big chances are. Sorry to interrupt. My bad.
Yeah,
I got hyped up. But Southland Tales, he tried something different. Pain and Gain, he tried something different, and Faster, and none of those were really successful.
Yeah,
and I think if those would have been successful, I think he would have gone that route. But then he did Game Plan, which was huge, and he started doing other PG-13 movies, and they were big. So I think he's leaned away from those types of roles. because they don't really. It's about the brand, and those don't help the brand.
Yeah, I just what I want from him, I'm just craving, is I want him to take a chance on something, and really like lean into it. Like what I keep thinking about is I don't remember what movie this was, but there's a scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger walks past The Rock's character in a movie.
Oh, The Rundown.
The Rundown, and it's like a purposeful setup to make The Rock the next giant action hero. And I'm going to be frank, I don't think he lived up to it, or he hasn't yet. Like I still enjoy a lot of what he does, but he doesn't. He's just, it's not the same. Like The Rock is honestly more of a comedian, frankly, I think, than like a true action hero.
He's good in Central Intelligence. He's weird in that one. I like my favorite roles of his are. You're right. My favorite roles of his are when he gets weird or when he's fallible. But I also think it's a different time. Movies like Commando. Well, I guess there is John Wick. But I think he's done I think he's had to pivot a few times, but he has learned to play to his strengths. And there's really nothing wrong with that because he's an empire right now. But if you look at Tom Cruise, he did Magnolia and Tropic Thunder. When you look at Brad Pitt, there's 12 Monkeys. There are these funky roles. I mean, don't even get me started on Nick Cage. So there are a lot of these actors take these really, like Wild Mountain Thyme with Emily Blunt. That's bonkers. You go out there and you take chances. And I think since he's such a brand, he's such a role model that, maybe he doesn't want that. So, but he's also doing great work for charities and has his TV shows. And so I think he's thinking, keep the brand alive, which I guess we can't fault. Because Vin is set, right? Vin kind of owns Universal right now. Because whenever a Fast movie comes out, they make $1 billion. So Universal, they could say, all right, we'll give you another Last Witch Hunter. We'll do this. And companies
throw you some bones.
Yeah, exactly. And he's earned it. So I guess he's able to take more chances, but so could The Rock. But we're not going to see him in it. The Rock is never going to do Interview with the Vampire. He'll fight vampires. So I guess he's just a different actor and playing towards his strengths.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to come off like I hate The Rock. I don't. It's just, I've been circling around this idea of just like peak Dwayne Johnson. And I can't, there's just something about it that bothers me. It's like, well,
there's a saturation point. There really is.
There is, but it's also like toxic positivity. It's like repressing that negative things happen. And that kind of feels like watching his films are always like this mild light, like everything's great. We're going to really pull through this if you work tough and you work hard. And I'm like, yeah, not really. That's not, it's okay to have other emotions.
No, you're right. But it's there though. I've seen in Pain and Gain, he got truly weird. In Southland Tales, he got really weird. So, I mean, Central Intelligence maybe too. We'll see. I don't know.
We'll see. You know what, yeah. Mark? We don't want to make this a Dwayne Johnson podcast on the Vin Diesel show.
So how about this? Let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will get refocused and talk about Bloodshot. How's that sound?
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and I have some questions for you, David.
Okay, let's do it.
Do they rebuild the gym every time?
Oh my god!
Because
they have to, but they can't, like, do you know how long it takes for a plaster to set?
Oh yeah. So you would
think they would direct them towards a different wall, a different load-bearing wall or something.
I think they have to reset that thing every time.
I didn't think about that, but that's wild.
I was watching this and I was just thinking, wait, they're gonna have to rebuild this. And another thing, they made a big deal about saying that Wiley Wiggins spent $812 in room service. He's been locked in a basement for a very long time. $812 in a 5-star hotel is nothing.
I thought that too. Oh my god, I'm so glad you brought that up. I was like, that's like 4 meals.
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
Not even splurging.
Yeah. That's 1 bottle of champagne. So it's not that bad. And then the movies he was watching, whatever, he was in a basement. Who cares? And so when they said 812 and they made a big idea about it, I just thought to myself, yeah, that's not that much. And also, has your attitude towards not attitude, but has your KT, how has she changed in the last year for you?
I like KT more, and I already liked her.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm like, oh yeah, this is like that fight scene with the collapsible baton, pretty badass.
Yeah.
I thought it was badass the first time, but I was like, this is really good. She's a good character because she she's clearly doing something because like otherwise she would die, and so she's being forced to do all this stuff, and she has a, we're going to say this word again, vulnerability to her that's refreshing.
And you know what? You nailed exactly what she said. So Isa Gonzalez loves this movie. She's so happy. She said, she's so happy that she's the first Mexican superhero. She wants to really get that going. She wants more roles for people. She talks about when she grew up, it was just Salma Hayek acting. And that's kind of who she had as a role model. And she's really proud of this. And what she said was about her role, and that's exactly what you just said, where she didn't feel like a damsel in distress. And then she didn't feel like a bad chick. You know, in these movies where you're just defined by being angry. And then she said that she's not the strong female character who's so buff and insane that there's no she just didn't want to be that. So she said that her character is very capable and strong and powerful, but she's emotional. And she feels bad for Diesel's character. But she also goes and beats people up. So it's not, hey, pup. It's not an issue. I don't know. I like that about her character. So she's not the gruff person, but then she also has these emotions because, like you said, she had she was a diver. She couldn't breathe anymore. And Guy Pearce goes, when you signed up for this, that was the deal. But you're dying, David. Hey, David, you're gonna die.
It's not much of a deal. Yeah. This is under pressure.
Listen, you're gonna be dead in 10 minutes, and I can put a brand new titanium, unobtainium heart into you, and you will be fine. But you have to work for me, or you'll be dead. One or the other.
I guess I'm working for you.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is, in the beginning, it's fine. Let's build these nanobites to sell to the highest bidder. It doesn't matter who. Many will die, but we're just going to get rich, and war happens anyway. But when they start killing people that they worked with, when they start using a guy who has emotions and has a conscience and feels sadness in every emotion, I think that slowly weighs on her. So yes, she is loyal to Guy Pearce, but also seeing all this changes her a little bit. So it's not anything new that for a character to change over time towards what they're doing. So I buy it more and more that her character would feel empathy towards this man, but then she's still a badass who walks with grenades and throws them into a data center and blows them up and looks cool while doing it. So it's
wearing sweatpants.
Yeah, while wearing sweatpants. But I dig it, and she was really proud of it. She loved the role, and she was so happy to get it. And she said she worked. I just love what she said, and what you said. She reminded me of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman a little bit, where complete badass, but also open and emotional, not like just a total badass or does that make sense, or a total damsel in distress. And I like that.
It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a well-rounded, three-dimensional character.
It's just, dude. Okay, I know I keep saying this, but it's so cool. Lamora Morris, Isa Gonzalez, and Vin Diesel heading their own film. Give me that. Like, I like all three of these people, and it's such a unique thing. I'm tired of watching the same things over and over and over again. I want these three on a road trip blowing up people. It'd be great.
I mean, maybe that's Bloodshot too. We'll get there.
Yes, I hope so. Please. And how do you feel? So, Guy, you know what? I got a good laugh out of this in regards to Guy Pearce's character, Dr. Emil Harding. So he hires all these people, and then they're all kind of a pain in the butt. So his coder borrows open source code for Bloodshot, which is insane. He has all these weird stereotypical killer ideas. He's stuck with Jimmy, who's just a nightmare, kind of an alpha guy, murderer. I mean, he says he killed Osama bin Laden. He was part of that team, and now he's playing second fiddle to someone who's more powerful than him. So he has a brat on his hands. Tibbs is chill. And then he's also dealing with KT not wanting to do this. I just think he's funny. Everything starts falling apart for him a little bit. It's interesting his hiring process. Just who he got.
He doesn't have a very good one.
Yeah, exactly. But that's really that rang out to me the fourth time or fifth time around. Just watching his crew fall apart around him. It made me happy.
Yeah, we can talk about Jimmy Dalton a little bit. I guess this is my third watch. He stands out a lot more than the first two watches, and he has my favorite line of the film, which is "What a relentless dick."
Yeah.
And it's just like, what is like? He's true because like Bloodshot, like he's a missile. He is relentless, and he's a dick.
It's jealousy speaking right there.